You may have spent several hours watching the television presentation of Dancing with the Stars some time ago. I think it is going to return again. But nothing can quite touch our imagination or enlarge our fascination as much as the finesse of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. You may have been excited by many pieces of music, ancient and modern, but Beethoven's Ninth Symphony has stirred people's minds and hearts across the generations. You may be able to recite many poems from Dorothy McKellar's A Sunburnt Country to Robbie Burns' The Red, Red Rose, but probably few poems could quite expand our minds as much as Shylock, those words of Shylock in Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. You may have heard many of those speeches of the revolutionaries and the freedom fighters, of people in many countries involved in the struggle for freedom, but probably no words are as often repeated as those words attributed to Jesus of Nazareth when he said, "You will know the truth, and that truth will set you free." In the striving for truth, we have turned to grotesque destructiveness, continually denying and evading the possibilities of claiming a great goal of discovering one important possibility, the important possibility for every intelligent human being the world over, discovering, exploring, expanding, and enjoying the gift, the goal of a beautiful mind. Listen to these words from your New Testament Bible. We've spoken them already today. Let your heart and mind be lifted into a new life and a new way to be. Always look for the good, the true, and the beautiful. Those things that bring out the best. Those things that are really excellent. Those things that evoke your strongest admiration. Churches around the world and churches through the centuries have often become fixated on making their confessions one after the other of what they've done or might have done, often blocked in their confusion about what the God to whom they pray. And oddly enough, as they made their confessions, they've tended to evade this exhortation of great positive values. Always look for the good, the true, and the beautiful. A beautiful mind recognizes and resonates to a beautiful world. A beautiful mind wants to create beautiful things. A beautiful mind encourages the birth and the burgeoning of beautiful minds in others. So the goal of everyone, surely, working in the field of clinical psychology is the work of creating beautiful minds. Oh yes, you might rush to correct me and say, no, the work of the clinical psychologist is to cure damaged and disturbed minds. True, but I have seen many people with very disturbed and damaged minds, but they also can have a very beautiful mind. The work of cure and recovery is focused towards the recovery and the resilience of the beautiful mind. We set the goal. We set the goal beyond a functioning mind to be free to embrace what is beautiful in our mind, to explore the extent of what is beautiful in our mind, to express the beautiful in our mind, to help others discover the beautiful in their minds, and to join with others in a collaboration of beautiful minds to create a more beautiful world. In the everyday traffic of your busy lives, you probably have little time to bother about a beautiful mind. In the everyday conflicts and quarrels, the talk of a beautiful mind so often seems irrelevant. In the world of politics, where we frequently see the ugly, nevertheless we sometimes see a beautiful mind. In the business of the courts of law, where every day there is the constant search for the truth, there is also the goal to elevate the place of a beautiful mind reflected in a change of heart and in the goodness of the human heart. At the end of the school semester, parents and teachers can stand back for a moment and refocus on the great goal of helping children of the world develop a beautiful mind. So often, however, we're concentrating far more on our bodies, and that comes at great cost. The cost, the amount of money we spend on trying to make our bodies look better, look different, look beautiful. But often we have to face the reality that as we grow older by the day, as we grow older by the month, as we grow older by the year, a degree of deterioration is part of that process. We don't have to visit the orthopedic wards of the hospital to realize how much the outer body can deteriorate, not only with age, but certainly with age, also with injury, or with underuse or overuse, wear and tear. We don't have to visit the cardiac unit in the hospital to know that the inner organs of the body may not be functioning at 70 years of age as they did at 17 years of age. But our mind, saving injury or disease, can have a life of vitality and enjoyment despite what happens to the body. Your body, internally and externally, of course, will deteriorate, may succumb to disease, but you can have a beautiful mind. Notice we're aware of all those suggestions and plans and programs for the body. The diet, the exercise, your weight, the clothing you wear, what you conceal and what you show, all that. But it is rare, so very rare, to find clear-cut plans to develop and sustain the beautiful mind. In fact, some of the possible models of public and sporting life are not always strong in showing a beautiful mind. Indeed, even our education systems, they're meant to be speaking about the mind, and they do train the mind in the skills of the mind, but we do not often hear clearly that the great goal really is to create more beautiful minds. Religion has done very little in this regard, apart, of course, from giving us the platitudes and the aphorisms. Psychology hasn't done much better in overtly stating that this is the priority. And so often, many lives are wasted. And so you may have seen in the advertisement of this address, yesterday's paper, a great goal. Are you focused on it? Yes, we all want it. Yes, it's easy to lose sight of it. Your body diminishes, but your mind can become more beautiful. So what will the beautiful mind look like? Edward de Bono wrote his book, I've mentioned it to you before, How to Have a Beautiful Mind. It is a very closely argued book about how to conduct ourselves in a relationship, how to converse with each other, how to be constructive in our conflicts, how to keep collaboration and community effective. There's the book. And of course we'll read it in all its detail. We'll read it, and in fact we'll agree with it, and then we'll put it aside and forget it. For that reason, I happen to like his other book, this other book of his, better. It's called The 6 Thinking Hats. It keeps alive some very, very persuasive images. If your mind is closed, rigid, angry, prejudiced, the hat, what hat are you wearing? If your mind is not only closed but is full of negative emotions of hatred and bitterness, all of those negative emotions, what hat are you wearing? It's a black hat. A black hat. So we need to think about changing the hat. If your mind is open to the world, open to the sunshine, open to a new day, open to new ideas, open to the flow of light and goodness, then you'll be wearing a yellow hat. So a beautiful mind is looking for a yellow hat. A beautiful mind takes great pride and pleasure in wearing a yellow hat. Many times now I've spoken to you about the 5 factors of personality described by the 2 American psychologists, McRae and Costa. And I felt compelled to add to the 5 2 more. I spoke about it at Sage just on Thursday. So they've got 7 factors for our personality. The 5s have different words that spell out ocean. I'll talk about them in a moment. Whereas the 7 spell out oceanic. Oceanic, how to have an oceanic personality rather than just settling for an ocean personality. Let's go further and have an oceanic personality. In this address today, I shall keep to the 7, but use different descriptors for the beautiful mind. I will, however, retain the O at the beginning. The first one, openness. Openness, be open with the imagery of the yellow hat, a symbol of the flow of light and life. A beautiful mind is open to the flow. That's O. The second one is C, in the word ocean. C. C in the original proposal of McRae and Costa meant to be conscientious. I find that a little heavy. So I change it. For a descriptor of the beautiful mind, my C will stand for what you carry. You have a bag. We're all carrying a bag, an imaginary bag, with a label on it. Does the label on your bag spell out caring, constructive, collaboration, change? Oh yes, did you hear that? Change. I like those words of Wallace Stevens' poem. I've spoken it to you before. The man bent over his guitar, a shearsman of sorts. The day was green. They said, "You have a blue guitar. You don't play things as they are." The man replied, "The things as they are changed on the blue guitar." The beautiful mind can change everything. The name of the book, Dr. Gawler's book, The Mind That Changes Everything. So I come to E. The originals called it extroversion. It's a good word because we all want a little extroversion in our lives. But today for the beautiful mind, I'm going to ask for a different E. E will be enthusiasm. It will be energy. You've heard my E's before. It will be ebullience. it will be enhancement. E, the E of experiencing enhancement, because you see, when the E mind experiences enhancement, that enhancement bubbles over to enhance others. Enhancement is like a river. As the water flows into the river, it flows on, bringing new growth, new life, new energy to the flatlands. Oh yes, Ken Wilber, in his several books, used that word, flatlands. He used the word flatlands to describe our well-known human experience of living in flatlands. He said the great nest of the Spirit can collapse as people more and more become absorbed in the surface of things. What Martin Heidegger, the existentialist, called the inauthentic life. A beautiful mind brings new energy to enhance the flatlands, and will in turn be enhanced by what it gives and what it receives. E, that was. The A in the word. The A in the original meant affability, affable person. Yes, we can do with more affable people, more affable personalities, for sure. But A for the beautiful mind. It's going to change a little bit. It's going to be for action. The action to turn our destructive anxieties into anxieties that will be constructive. I see one example of this in the paintings of Lloyd Rees, one of the most revered of Australian artists. Do you know, in his late 90s, he was nearly blind, but he was painting the most astonishing colours. Indeed, I have, at the age of 77, he painted the most restful colours of the autumn sun. And it is that particular painting, or a copy of it, that is on the front of my book. I have it there by permission on my book, Hope. The colours are full of hope. So transforming the anxiety of aging into the word of beauty that has a lot of colour to it. So the anxiety moves, allow it to transform us rather than to be the destructive component of our lives. The N in the original meant the neurotic side of the personality. I want to use N to mean the non-combative, the non-inflammable personality. Use the words nourishing us in all goodness. You know how the negative N can be very powerful. It is the N of non-collaboration. It is the N of nastiness. It is the N of recurring negativity. But the beautiful personality is the personality we're happy to be near. There's the personality, the one we're happy to be near, nourishing us with all goodness. Nurturing, nourishing, noble personality. There's the ocean. But I've added I-C to make it oceanic. I still want the I to mean inspiration. Yes, the beautiful mind is, I hope, is continually tapping sources of inspiration within, and is constantly looking for that inspiration from the outside. Without inspiration, we're likely to slip back into the flatlands. Inspiration calls us out of ourselves, out of our blocked zones, tells us to put our black hats aside, to walk with our yellow hat. Inspiration. And then the C. Yes, I wanted the C to mean good contact, good community, good connection. I also wanted to mean good conduct in your relationships. Yes, good conduct. The beautiful mind comes, of course, with another C. It commands us. We don't like people commanding us, but the beautiful When the beautiful comes, it too has a command. It commands us to look for those things that bring out the best. It commands us to look for those things that are really excellent. It commands us to look for those things that evoke our strongest admiration. The command has been there all along. W.H. Auden told us in his poem, we so quickly, he said, get tangled up in what he called our tohu bohu. Our tohu bohu. It comes from the book of Genesis. It means the noise and emptiness of the void. And that's where we can dwell if we're not careful. So he gave us that poem. Beloved, he said, we're always in the wrong, handling so clumsily our stupid lives, suffering too little or too long, too careful even in our selfish lives. The destructive mania we obey, die in our grimaces round us every day. Yet through their tohu bohu comes a voice which utters an absurd command. Rejoice. There is the command of the beautiful mind, to rejoice. Or there's another sea. It is the sea of choice. You can choose to close off from the good, the true, and the beautiful. You can go on wearing your black hat, or you can put on the yellow hat. You can choose. Choose to develop and enjoy the openness of a beautiful mind. Yes, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Jesus, it is said, spoke those words. What is this truth? The truth is this, that as we find ourselves more and more in harmony with the good, the true, and the beautiful, you experience a freedom to live differently. The truth is this, that as you become more and more in harmony with the goodness of life, the goodness of the good Spirit of God, of course there is freedom. Freedom to leave the past behind, and freedom to grow into a different future. Freedom to be all that you can be as personalities. You find the freedom to explore a new faith in yourself, a new faith in the future, a new faith to live by. Yes, we can repeat it again and again. You will know the truth. The truth is that as you become more and more in harmony with the good, the true, and the beautiful, you experience that freedom, a freedom that we all would want to embrace. Would you please stand? We will say together, Our Father, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And the blessing. The blessing. May the God you see in all the colours of creation arouse in you a sense of awe and wonder. May the God who is a sacred presence be real to you. May the God who is a source of inspiration and courage keep calling you forwards. May your God go with you and bless you today and always.